Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video on the How to Make an Hatching System series. Now before this video starts, I want to let you guys know that I have a Patreon, so if you guys want to support me and want to have access to all of my project files, they will all be available in my Patreon in the $10 tier. With that being said, let's start. So in this video, what I want to do is add a rarity system. So we're going to be making the pets actually hatch depending on their rarity, as well as making the pet appear on the screen. So let's do that. What I'm going to start with is entering the main server script, and I'm going to get rid of this entire line of code. So get rid of this and get rid of this. And now the best way I have found to make a rarity system was this. So I'll leave a link to this in the description. This post was very helpful. So we'll just copy this function here and paste it in, and get rid of the actual function and just keep whatever is inside the function. And what I'm going to do is modify something here. So change the chance to math.random from 1 to 100, and change this to pet, and change this to game.replicated storage.pet square brackets egg.name colon find actually that's it. Just add a colon get children. And now what you want to do is change this to return pet.rarity.value. And I think that's what we renamed it to. Let me recheck. Okay, so it's rarity. I think it's better if it was called chance, but I don't think I want to do that. And what we're going to be doing here is changing this to pet.rarity.value. And also, this should not be pet.rarity.value. Change this to pet.name. And then we'll just add a... what I'm going to do is, in here, I'm going to do this. So, chosen pet is equal to, and pet.rarity, pet.name. And now we're going to have a variable up here called chosen pet. So, local chosen pet. And we're going to have that set to nil. And then in here, I'm going to print the chosen pet. So print chosen pet. And then I'm just going to return the chosen pet. And now what I'm going to do is go back inside of the hatch client script. And what I want to do is check if we were returning the pet name or just the pet. So what do we have here? Chosen pet. Where's the chosen pet? Is hatching is equal to false. Egg hatch 1 connection. Okay, so we are getting the result. Okay, so I think that should be it. Yes. What I'm going to do now is just hatch an egg and see what it prints. So it's printed creature of the deep. So I'm just going to recheck. What rarity is that? So basic egg. I think this is, yes. Okay, so it's this egg. And the rarity is 50%. So it hatched the most common one. And if I try to do it again, it hatched the same one again. And it hatched a creature of the deep again. I'm not really sure why. Okay, I think I know why. Let's try to hatch this egg this time. And let's hope that we don't get just a cat. Okay, so this time it gave us a bat. And next time it gave us a bat again. Okay, so this is not how a rarity system works. And I think this is because we messed up here. So just copy this. And change this to a function. So local function local function, and I'm going to rename it choose pet, and that will take the egg name, just egg, and I'm going to return pet.name instead. So return pet.name, and what I'm going to do now is do local chosen pet is equal to and choose pet, and that will take the egg dot name, actually just the egg, and then we're gonna print the chosen pet. Now we're gonna play the game now, and hopefully that works. So it hatched a dog, which is good, and now it hatched a dog again, and it hatched another dog. I think it's just because we don't have good luck. Okay, so it hatched a cat now, so the rarity system is definitely working, I think. And now let's hope that it hatches a common pet. Yes, it does, and as you can see, it works. So everything works, and now what I want to do is make the pet appear on the screen, and to do that, what I'm going to do is use a viewport frame. So add a frame in here, and I'm just going to rename it to pet display. So pet f2 pet display, and I'm going to rescale this, and I'm going to position it somewhere. And now I'm going to go to unit conversion scale so that we can convert this to scale. This is totally optional, you can just do it from here. So just change the size of this to something like 0.230, 0, 0.4, 0, or something like this, and it will be converted to scale. But for now, I'll just keep this at something like this. I think this is a perfect square. Okay, this is not a perfect square. Let's see, are we using scale or offset? So we are using scale. Let's try to resize this. And I'm going to position it here. Okay, for some reason I cannot find the center, so I'll just do that manually. So I'm going to change the anchor point to 0.5, and I'll change the position to 0.5, 0, 0.5, 0, and I think, yes, that works with mobile too. And I'm going to change the background transparency to 1, and the visible property to false. And now what you can do is just enter the hatch client script, and we will be using the module 3D module. So what I'm going to do in here is, after we destroy the egg mesh, instead of just straight up destroying it, we want that to have a nice animation. And to do that, I'm going to go up here, and I think we already have a reference for tween service, which is good. So what I'm going to do now is, just before we disconnect all of this, I'm going to have a I'm going to do a tween service concreate, and the egg, actually do a for loop in here for I, v in pairs. So for I, v in pairs, egg mesh, get children, do if v is a and base par, then tween service create, and it will we want to tween the part, so v tween info.new, and I think I'm going to put something like 1 second or 0.5 seconds, and then we want to tween the transparency, so transparency is equal to 1, and then I'm going to add a column play here, and I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to add a wait 0.5 seconds, and now if we play the game, that should look pretty good. So if I just hatch this egg, as you can see, it fades out. And what we want to do now, after we fade the egg, after the egg fades, we want to copy this. So go here, copy this, starting from the pet model, and we're gonna paste it here. And what I'm going to do now is change this to script.parent.display. I think it was called pet. Now it's script.parent.pet display. And we're gonna get the pet clone. And this will not work because we are only returning the pet name. So instead, what I'm going to do is change this to pet name, and go here and do a local pet is equal to pet find first descendant, and we're gonna put pet name clone. And then we're gonna put the pet in here without adding the clone. And now this should work, hopefully. And we're gonna wait a certain amount of time, so something like 3 seconds. And then we want to get rid of the viewport frame inside of the pet display frame. And to do that, I'm going to loop through the pet display frame. So for I, v in pairs script.parent.pet display frame pet display get descendants do if v is a, and if it's a viewport frame, then we want to destroy it. So v destroy. And after that, what I'm going to do in here is wait. That's pretty much it. We don't need to wait. What I'm going to do instead is go here and do script.parent.pet display.visible is equal to true. And in here, we're gonna set the visible property to false after we destroy it. So change this to false. Now that should work, hopefully. So if I just hatch this egg, nothing happens. But why is this happening? So find first descendant is not enabled. Okay, so this is very simple. We just have to enable find first descendant. So to do that, I'm just going to put a comma and true, and that should work. And as you can see, if I go ahead and hatch an egg, it doesn't work. So why is this happening? Okay, instead, let's do this. Instead of doing this, I'm going to do a pet egg.name, and then find first child, and pet name. And that should work this time. Let's see. Okay, so it works. And when it fades out, it shows the pet. Now, as you can see, the pet is rotated a bit. So that's not because of the script, but it's because of the actual pet. Now you're gonna have to mess around with the what's it called? The primary part. So to do that, what you're gonna have to do is do this. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Just get these pets in the workspace, press F to zoom in, and as you can see, the hitboxes are not really set up they're not really that good. And to fix that, what I'm going to do is just select these, each pet, I'll select it, go here, go to the primary part, which is, in this case, the cube that is too smooth. I think it's this one or this one. Okay, I'm just going to rename one of them to A. And let's see. Okay, now it says A, so it's this one. Now, what I'm going to do is make sure that this is a square and that it's positioned correctly, or you can add your own primary part. So to do that, you're gonna add a part, and I'm going to rename it to hitbox. And then I'm going to set its position to the cube that is too smooth position, so that it's centered, because that's the center of the pet. And then I'm going to change its size. So I think a size of about 1.5 comma 1.5 comma 2 should be good. Yeah, that's good enough. Maybe let's change this to a 3. Yeah, that's good. And make sure that the transparency is set to 1. And then you want to drag your pet up. And I'm going to change the primary part to the hitbox. And then you can select your hitbox and make sure that the front surface is the actual front surface, faces the actual front of the pet. So just to check that, you can just add a surface GUI, a frame, and you can just change this to select your surface GUI and make sure that this is set to front. And as you can see, the front surface here is not facing the right direction. So I'm going to change this transparency to 0. And I'm going to rotate this. So do this for each pet until it matches the size and the rotation of the pet. That is very important. Okay, so that's good enough. Now I'm going to change the transparency back to 1. And I'm going to get rid of the surface GUI. And now what I can do is drag the little demon inside of this folder, which is the red egg. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of having to do this for every single pet, what I'm going to do is just get rid of these and just keep one pet, and I'm going to change its rarity to 100. Now you shouldn't do this. I just don't want to do it because it's just a tutorial and not an actual game. So as you can see, now it should display it properly, and as you can see, it's perfect. Now we want the pet to also slowly fade out, and to do that, what you can do is do this. So tween service create. By the way, do this right after you want to destroy the viewport frame. So put it here. So create and script.parent.pet display. Find first child viewport frame. Find first child of class viewport frame. Comma tween info dot new, and I'm going to set this to 0.5. And then the background, I think it's the image transparency this time. So image transparency, and we're gonna set that to 1. And then we're gonna add a column play here. And then we're gonna add a weight 0.5. And then we can destroy it. But now what I would like to do is do this for when we hatch the egg, but I don't think that's that important. So I'll just hatch an egg. And as you can see, hopefully it will fade out. And as you can see, it did. And I think that looks pretty nice. Let's try this out with the other egg. And it should fade out. And yes, it does. But as you can see right now, our eggs are free and we need to make them cost a currency. And to do that, it's very, very simple. What you can do here is, when you check if it's higher or equal to the price, just copy this. Actually, you might have this as a string value, so what you might have your leader stats set created with string values, like what I usually do. So what you can do to fix this is just add a toString, if toString, and player.leaderStats currency.value is greater or equal than toString price. I mean two number price, and change this to a two number price too. Then what you can do is copy this, paste it here, and instead of doing this, change this to a minus equal two number price, and that should work. But as you can see, I don't think that's okay. This is not really going to work. So to fix this, we're gonna do this. So player.leaderStats currency.value is equal to, and player.leaderStats square brackets currency.value minus toString price. Now do this only if you are actually I don't think that we need this because we are just subtracting this. So just keep it like this. And now if you play the game, that should work. And as you can see, this cost us 10 coins. So the egg system works. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's tutorial. If this helped, please like the video, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!